So this video is going to be a little different than some other videos. This one is a overview of some accessories you can get for your M95 rifle or M95 carbine. I'll be going over some slings and some bayonets and where I got them, and I'll also be going over how to install the slings. So go ahead and start with the bayonets first. So I got an assortment of M95 bayonets here. You can see they're in varying condition. All of these came from IMA. They recently posted some more on their website. They have them split up by Austrian manufacturer and Hungarian manufacturer, and the Hungarian one sold out pretty quick, so I wasn't able to grab one of those, but I did grab a couple of the Austrian made bayonets. They're listed as being made by Steyr. However, some of the parts may be Czech, and they do have a hand select option. So you can see here, this one was a hand select. I kind of wanted to see the difference. And you can see that the scabbard on this one has a pretty decent amount of bluing on it and looks pretty good. And you can see the bayonet itself turned out really nicely. I'll post a picture of what they looked like when they arrived. They're basically covered in cosmoline, but they did clean up pretty nicely. I did read that sometimes you may need to grind off any little burrs or anything on these bayonet lugs, as over time they might have been damaged and that can cause the bayonets to have issues attaching. But all my bayonets went on pretty easily. You can see this one's in pretty good shape. It does have a little electro-stenciled serial number on here. I believe these came from Bulgaria, so they did get a lot of use after the First World War. You can see here, these are the ones that I got without the hand select. So still in pretty good condition. I don't see any pitting or damage on the blades. And the handles aren't cracked or damaged or anything. Just, they were covered in cosmoline. Two of the scabbards were painted like an OD green, so I went ahead and stripped that off. You can see this one's in pretty good shape as well. Does have kind of a dinged up scabbard though. You can see there's some dents in there. This dent towards the end is particularly an issue because it makes it a little hard to sheath and unsheath the bayonet. Kind of grips the tip of the bayonet. And this one you can see has some, just a little bit of original finish here, not very much. Looks like it was repaired maybe at some point. And you can make out the Steyr manufacturer stamp. What's interesting about this one is it has a Czech stamp on it. You can see this one's in good shape. It attached pretty well to the carbine. Just removing that one. You can see it has a really nice marking on it. Not really too sure what this one is. If anyone knows, feel free to leave it in the comments. But it is a little different than what was advertised, which is the standard logo here you see in a lot of the Steyr manufacturers. So if you know what this is, feel free to leave it in the comments. I'd be interested to know that. And you can see the handle on here is pretty good. There's a pretty nice blade as well. If you're looking for a bayonet, you can still get some off IMA. I would definitely recommend the hand select fee. It's only another $10, and I mean, you look at the difference, I would say that's worth the $10 difference. You can also check eBay, but they're really going for about what IMA is selling them for, though you can at least see what you're getting on eBay. And some of the ones I've seen on eBay are in pretty good condition. Some of them look like they were refinished at some point, never reissued. So should be able to find these as well, like gun shows and stuff. You sometimes see bayonets laying around, and they're pretty cheap. So definitely got options, but these bayonets are getting a little scarce compared to a lot of the other types of bayonets. The M95 bayonets just aren't really as easy to come by. All right, so for slings, I have 3 different slings here. So you can tell which one is for the carbine because it has this little brass piece right here, whereas the rifle slings have this buckle. You also have 2 different loops for the carbine. It was designed to allow a little bit more adjustment whereas the rifle slings were designed to be carried just over the shoulder at full adjustment. Now I have two different slings from two different manufacturers. So this sling I got from Nestof. It's a company in Poland. They make a lot of reproduction First World War and World War II stuff. And you can see the quality's pretty good on it. It's got some really good stitching on it, high quality leather, and a good buckle. Only downside is shipping is a little expensive. So if you're looking for something within the US, this one actually costs a bit more, but obviously you can get a lot less shipping on it. And it does seem to be made of a little bit better leather. And this one's from Richard's Reproductions. It's a US based company, and he makes a lot of Austro Hungarian stuff, so like canteen carriers and covers and all kinds of field equipment that normally you can only get in Eastern Europe. But he does carry a lot of that stuff and he makes it himself, so definitely recommend it. I've gotten a few products from him and have been pretty satisfied. So if you need a sling and you don't want to pay the shipping from Poland and you're just kind of looking for that one thing, that might be a good option for you. So as far as pricing goes, this one from Nestof, I think this was about 24 bucks, something like that. These two, this was 45 and this was 40. So just kind of make your own decision based on those price points. All right, so first up we're going to do the sling for the carbine. So the carbine sling has two loops, has this one loop you can use to adjust the sling a little bit easier, and it has this front loop that's sewn in on the end. This is particularly useful for cavalry troops. They can kind of tighten the sling down and hold it into place, or loosen it without it sliding around. And so you have two options here. You have the loop set up to put it straight across the side of the rifle, which is useful for cavalry troops. They can sling it over their back, and it also keeps the bolt from digging into them. Then you also have an option to sling it from under the rifle, so you can put on your shoulder, which is better for infantry. The Austrian soldiers were usually carrying either rucksacks or tornisters, so putting it across their back wouldn't probably be too comfortable. So the infantrymen would probably sling it underneath to carry it on their shoulder, compared to the cavalry, which wouldn't be wearing the packs. So do it cavalry style would be kind of a pain, because I would have to turn this, and it's already as tight as it'll go, so to loosen it, it's kind of a pain, because it should be tilted a little bit farther forward to allow the sling to go straight across. It's a little kind of off tilt. So I'm going to go ahead and sling it underneath the rifle. So I find it helps to first kind of visualize your end state when you install slings. So you want the smooth side facing out and the stitching to face in. So this is kind of how you want it. So first I'm going to slide this end of the sling up underneath here on the rear swivel. Then I'll slide this through the loops here. Just give myself plenty of slack. Then I'll take the front tip here, just slide it right inside this front loop. So now you have your sling all set up. So you can just take this stud here. I'm going to pop it through both pieces of the leather here. And you can see it attaches well. And with the loops here to tighten it, all you have to do is grab this front loop and just pull. And you can see it's a pretty easy tighten. You can also use this loop back here, and this will help keep it in place. So you can see this was certainly a welcome addition for cavalry, where this would be bouncing around and they'd want to keep the end of the sling secure. So you have the two loops here working well together. Alright, so with the long rifle it's a little bit different. You're dealing with a different type of sling. So this only has the one loop, which is sewn at the end, and has this buckle towards the back. So you kind of want to visualize how it's going to get set up. This is going to look like this. So you're going to have this end actually attaching here at the front sling swivel, and then the rear part will be where this loop is. So I find the easiest way to do this is to, instead of trying to get this through the loop back here, is kind of work backwards. So I'm going to slide this through this loop back here. If you pull on it, it should come right through. Then I'm going to take this end, slide it through here. You can see it's a little bit of a tight fit, but it will pop through. And then I'll give you a closer look at the front end here. So you're going to basically take this end of the sling here, slide it through, and then buckle it right on the buckle. And there you have it. You have your sling attached. You can tighten the sling by pulling on this loop right here, and then you can loosen it in order to shoulder the rifle, but it doesn't have that extra loop to help kind of keep the sling in place. So it's a little bit annoying to use this, as it will kind of flop around and loosen. But that's how you attach the sling to the M95 rifle. As far as clips go, you can find these kind of all over the place. You can find them on Roll Tiger Import sometimes. These are two I got from RTI, and you can find them on eBay and various other sources. You just kind of Google around, you can find them. This is a box of 8x56 ammunition I got. It's a surplus German manufacturer. Looks like made in the 1930s. And these come with the clips, and they're actually really nice looking clips. They're well made, much more solid than the ones that I got off Roll Tiger. So you can find some of these on eBay where people have shot through some of this ammo and they're selling off some clips they don't need. So if you can find these, I definitely recommend these, but these will work as well. Just these are a little higher quality in my opinion. Alright, so hope you enjoyed this video on some of the accessories you can get for your M95 rifle with the slings and the bayonets. Again, the bayonets were from IMA-USA, and the slings were from Reproductions and Nestof. If you have any questions about these rifles, any questions about the accessories, feel free to drop them in the comments. I just ordered another M95 and a Carcano B grade in the recent sale at RTI. So I have a video of those coming out when I receive them. I also have a video of another one of the carbines I cleaned up for the M95. So I'll have that one out as well. If you'd like to be alerted to those videos, feel free to subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching.